Today's guest is Brad Lea, businessman, entrepreneur, speaker, host of the very popular Dropping Bombs podcast. If you have ever wanted to improve your confidence or make money, this is the guy you should listen to. We get into all of that and much more. You are going to need to get your notes out. You're going to be wanting to examine your life because it is time to maximize on your potential. Leave us a like right down below, please, and review, of course, on iTunes or Spotify would go a long way for a podcast like ours. And of course, if you want to listen to this or support the channel in any other way, check us out on Rumble because we also put out our videos there. Enjoy the podcast. Peace.
Way of Will John.
Brad Lea, what's up? How you doing?
Buddy, I always tell people that's a wasted question because I'm the one in charge. And if I said anything other than it's going incredibly well, then I would be an idiot. Because I'm the one in charge. I'm the one responsible. So anytime someone says, how you doing or how's things going, I always say it's incredible. I always say it's a wasted question because you're not ever going to get another answer than unbelievable. Unbelievable, bro.
So as I've been diving into, and now it's been a little while now that I've been watching your content, you've got this mindset, this positive mindset, the exact same optimistic outlook on life, but you're not an optimist who is going to be a fairy, hazy dreamer, right? You take action for a lot of what you do. Or am I wrong in there? You're a hazy dreamer? You don't seem to be one of those guys that doesn't actually get shit done.
No, I would say I'm a realist.
Okay. Not an optimist at all? Or a realist, an optimist realist in that sense?
I think by definition, I'm an optimist because I do look at the positive in everything and I am optimistic about things. But at the end of the day, I'm a realist. Like, in other words, you woke up this morning, didn't you?
Of course.
What's worth not waking up?
Nothing.
Okay, good. So you wake up every single morning. Why wouldn't it be a great day? Why wouldn't it already be the best day ever? You woke up, man. You literally got something more valuable than anything you can think of every day right there, and you don't appreciate it. Me, I'm aware that the day itself is a gift beyond any gift. So I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to take all I can from that day. And it's just a perspective, and people need to shift their perspective to understand. Like, I know there's people that are pessimists and then there's people that are optimists, but I am a realist. In other words, I'm a realist, man. There's nothing more optimistic than being real.
When did you cultivate this? Because I was also just, checking out all the stuff that you had. You're a dropout like me, but when did you drop out? What was that story?
I dropped out of high school in the 11th grade. I believe I was 16. My dad told me to mow the lawn. And I hadn't I would say 2 times he told me to mow the lawn and I hadn't. And so he came home one day a little bit drunk, which he did often. And he said, I thought I told you to mow the lawn. And I said, I forgot. And he said, I think it's time you hit the fucking road. And I said, are you serious? And he said, basically, and then he looked at my friend that was with me and he said, you too, slick. Now my dad, when he would drink, he was either a happy drunk where, you could laugh and have fun, or he was a mad drunk. And you never knew which one unless you looked in his eyes, and then his eyes would tell you, well, this was one of those days where you did not want to say anything. So I just grabbed a bag and left and never returned. I mean, I returned to visit, but I never moved back home. He didn't sober up and tell me he was sorry. So at 16 years old, I was out and about on my own. Now, a lot of people think, oh, poor Brad. Listen, when I was 16 years old, that was a blessing. To be released of parental supervision at 16, dude, come on. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
See what I mean, though? See what I mean? Like, most people would think that that's a negative thing. And I think that's positive. Like, are you kidding me? I was released. I was free.
But you had to have had this mindset. This didn't happen naturally, did it? Because you had to have gone through some stuff and realized the blessings that setbacks and obstacles actually create for you, right? I mean, at least that's how it was for me. And then you adapt it to your life always. And when you hit setbacks and you hit obstacles, all right, I'm going to turn this, I'm going to do this. Let me see the positive. Let me see how I can work this and make this, fashion this to the best of, the opportunity. And it's a thing that we try to teach also players, like young footballers, soccer players, obviously, in their careers, because you mentioned once, and I think this was in a speech you had just given maybe 3-4 months ago, about how they told you that you're going to have one shot. You got one chance. You're going to have one chance, and you said something like, I had fucking a million chances, right?
Yeah. You get a million.
You get a ton. It's it's such, no, you don't want to waste them, right? That's not your whole point and message is to waste every opportunity, but you get more than they tell you. It's BS. And I equate it to when I was 26, I think I had a failed deal to a very big club in Slovakia, top team in the country. And when it fell through, the agent who set it up said to me outside my house, I think that was it. Like, you're done. Like, he was like, you're done. And I remember thinking, like, my legs are fine. Like, I can still play. Like, what's done? Within 2 years, I was the top scorer for my club, and I'd won a bunch of goal of the month, the year awards, and all this stuff. And I just remember thinking about that time all the time. Like, what? Where are people getting this? That one shot. I don't know how that happened. I think it's just, I don't know if it's a movie or it's just a standard thing we like to tell each other. But like cultivating that idea of like each opportunity holds amazing stuff. I don't know how you came upon that idea as well yourself.
Well, again, I think I just tell the truth. And the truth is you don't get one chance. Okay, you get multiple chances. At the end of the day, it's just my belief. But I'll give you a soccer story real quick, though, or football, okay, as you guys call it. I was on a team. We were playing for some big event or big championship or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was an important game. I'm playing goalie. They get a free kick. They get this Chinese kid with these huge legs. I still remember these big monster freaking legs and a free kick. And so I'm sitting there as goalie and he boots that thing. It comes in, curves. I catch it right in the stomach, knocks the wind out of me. And everybody starts screaming, yes, coach, everybody's happy. Well, I go to kick the ball, okay? And I step backwards over the line. And I didn't realize I couldn't walk in my own damn net. I walked in there with that ball. And then obviously ridiculed from then on out, quit football or soccer. Basketball, snatched the ball one time from the opposing team, ran down, did a layup thinking I'm badass and I'm about to win the game for us. Wrong net, opposite net. The whole school was there watching. So every time, listen, the reason I say these things is because every time somebody says, that's too bad. Well, is it? What if I would have stayed in those sports and been injured? What if I would have stayed in those sports and, been paralyzed? Like, how do you know which way your life would have went? You just assume, had you not quit school, you would have been some, astrophysicist. Well, number one, I make more money than most astrophysicists anyway. So if I would have stayed in school, everything great would have happened. But now that I haven't, I'm one of the lucky ones because a lot of people quit school and end up nowhere. Well, listen, that's because they quit themselves. It's not because they quit school. At the end of the day, people lose because they don't believe in themselves. People always ask me, how do I raise my net worth? I say, brother, you got to raise your self-worth and the net worth will follow. You got to raise your net worth, man. Start believing in yourself. Start being optimistic. Start being, and start being real about things. Like, dude, listen, assess where you are. Quit bullshitting yourself. If you suck, dude, practice. I could start playing soccer. We call it soccer. I could start playing soccer for the old man's league right now and get really, really good at soccer. Why? Well, because anybody that practices and dedicates their time and effort, they get good at something. So again, get good at something, but be real. Quit being delusional. I'm not delusional. I'm real. That's what people need to be. Start being real.
That's well said. I mean, we don't live in a world that wants to be real or have that. I mean, now with social media and all of this, it's very easy. The thing that I deal with a lot on our end is guys that want to be pros, guys that want to play at the best soccer club in the world or whatever, but they're a bit delusional, and social media helps feed into that. And another thing that's happening is instead of actually wanting to get good, right? You said if I wanted to get good at, I go to the old man soccer league, right? And I would practice. That's what you said, right? Well, the opposite's happening right now where, you would think that you have to, but you don't, because right now what we're running into is guys, instead of actually getting good to then get these following or then this, they're just tricking everyone by showing that they can do one thing, or they put all the fluff, all the superficial stuff to be and look like they can be good in the game. So players and people who have never been pros, who aren't very good, but they can do one or two tricks. They put those two tricks out there. They start teaching people how to play the game, how to become a pro. Well, all the rest, there's very few pros that, have large YouTube channels that actually teach, because it's hard, right? It takes a little while, but they're looking at this going, you're never going to get anywhere. You're never going to get anywhere with it. And so I see that, and it always reminds me of the quote from like too many of the players want to be stars now and not actually good at their sport, their craft, their skill. And that's where it all is. I feel like we've glorified, the star. You can get your likes and your follows before you've actually ever done anything. I don't understand where that.
Well, I mean, depends on. I mean, if you do some really cool trick, you see those guys that do those one-off shots and, tricky things, and people start following them like crazy. But do they ever monetize it? I don't know. But I know that, you can be really, really, really good at, let's say soccer, for example, and not have any followers and still, end up fine. Now, if you're trying to get followers, well, then I would say that you need to either develop a trick or be really good. I mean, who's the what's his name? Messi.
Messi.
Yeah. I mean, again, I never heard of him. Now I know who he is because he's one of the best players in the world. You're not going to do that with a trick. Like, for example, the guy that you see on social media that makes those one-off shots?
You talking about that group that does the one-off basketball shots, or they do them for?
What's their name?
I don't know their name.
Exactly.
That's so true. I know the shots though, but they've monetized. The people I'm thinking about, they've done a pretty good job at making money off of their thing. But the problem, I don't have any problem with that, because it does require some skill. My problem is within the group of guys that do the one trick and then tell people, hey, you want to play with Messi? Do what I'm doing. Do this one trick. Follow my training system, Here's my advice for those people that would listen to that nonsense. You have to identify what they've done. So nobody with one trick is out there being the best on a soccer team. If the guy's the best and he does a trick, well, then there you have a winner. But if you're trying to be a trickster, well, then follow the trickster, because he's obviously got it down. But dude, just look and see where they are and what they're doing, and see if that's where you want to be, because that's all you do to get what you want. You figure out what it is. You find someone who's already done it or who's already got it. You know what I mean? The life you want. If someone has that life, well, then you emulate what they're doing. You basically repeat what they did, and you'll more than likely get what they got. So these tricksters or these trick shot guys or whoever it is you're referring to, because I don't know who you're talking about, which again is proof, whoever this is you're talking about. If I'm a young athlete and I see someone with a bunch of followers and I'm all, goo goo gaga over somebody because they have 1 million followers or 1 billion followers, I'm going to find out who they are and what they're doing first. Because if it's just a trickster, they're not on any team kicking ass, correct? And if they are on a team kicking ass because of that trick, and that's what I want to be, well, then do whatever that person did, good or bad. All you have to do to get what you want is figure out what it is, find out who's already doing it, and do what they did. And 9 times out of 10, you'll get what they got, because like action causes like result. Hopefully you are soaking up all of the knowledge from Brad. One of the most important things that I have learned interviewing all of these high performance leaders is that clarity of mind is crucial to your success. And what good is clarity of mind without clarity of sound? Which is why today's podcast is sponsored by Rode. We across Goluremi use exclusively Rode audio equipment in order to do all of our stuff. If you are an influencer, if you're just a person out there trying to make some good content for your stuff at home, wherever it is, Rode is by far the best audio partner we have ever had. We have been using their stuff for almost 5 years now. Has never let us down. Truly incredible company, especially with all of the other affordable things that you guys can get from them. Check out the link right down below and enjoy the rest of this podcast.
That's really powerful because I was in New York fairly recently. We went to Wall Street, and I was standing out right outside the New York Stock Exchange with a friend of mine, and we stopped people that were going in there, and with one question essentially: do you have concrete financial advice for young men and women trying to basically make money, to make $1 million, to make, to get ahead right now? I wasn't expecting people to take the question so seriously, but we ended up getting a lot of people to stop and a lot of people to give a lot of time. Guys that own their private jet companies, people that are obviously, they're walking into the stock exchange to go trade, do whatever it is that they do within there, a bunch of entrepreneurs and everybody outside there. And they gave some really interesting advice. And so at the same time, I want to switch and kind of hear what you might say for somebody that clearly had to start from dad says leave at 16 to everything that you're doing now. Where and what would you do for somebody who is young right now trying to push it?
Well, again, depends on the road they want to take. So the choices you make determine the road that you take. So if you want to be an athlete, top athlete, I'd dedicate most of my life, even if I had to live, subpar, practicing that sport. I want to become the best in the world at that sport, because that might allow me to make that money that I truly want in the end anyway. So I would hate to say to stop doing that just because I make an assumption that only few people ever get to that level and assume that they can't, which I never would, because anyone, I believe, has the ability. The question is do you have the grit? Do you have the discipline? Now, short of that, I would say something very similar. To me, dude, if you want to guarantee that you're going to be successful in life, number one, you got to learn to sell and persuade and influence. I would not be where I am if I didn't have the ability to sell, close, and persuade. Number one. Number two, learn to market. You have to be able to drive interest. You have to be able to get your phone to ring. You have to be able to gain eyeballs. Attention is valuable. So you need to learn to market. And then you need to learn to invest. Okay. Most people don't know those three things, and that's why they never succeed. They usually work for someone who does. Learn to sell. And by the way, there's not in the same order, because you got to learn to market more importantly than anything, because you can hire other people to sell. But if you can get a bunch of traffic, well, then you're going to be successful no matter what. If you can sell that traffic, you're going to be ultra successful. And if you can invest that money that you make wisely, well, then you're going to be extremely wealthy and more successful than anybody on earth. Why? And what do you mean? Well, when I say learn to invest, most people don't realize that money is simply a tool, right? And I used to spend the money thinking all the people with the jets and the houses and the cars, and they're these wealthy people. When in reality, they're making all this money and they're spending it on all these things. They're spending it, not investing it. And if that money ever stopped, so would their cars and their houses, their vacations and their jets. It would all stop. Why? Because they're getting that stuff from earned income. The trick is to get it from passive income, right? And passive income, the difference is you take your earned income and you invest it, not spend it. So if you buy a car or a house or something nice with your earned income, and again, I know it's hard to do, but I'm just telling you, if someone said, give me a crash course in investing, If you take all your earned income, live with your mom, I don't care. Take all your earned income and you invest it and only blow or spend your passive income, that's investing. So if you learn to invest, you learn to market, you learn to sell, dude, you're guaranteed to be successful. Guaranteed. Unless you got a coke habit or something.
Yeah, all the distractions, yeah, obviously, holding people back. But the part I want to dig in on, it's very rare that I mean, I don't want to say not rare in my personal life, but rare on the podcast that I've had someone with an ability to sell and persuade. I mean, we had Patrick Bet David on, fairly recently, so there's someone there in that world too as well. But like, they don't teach. There's not a course in selling in school. I don't remember the investing course in school either. So, number one, I don't understand why.
Well, look at the richest people in the world. Most of them that I know or I've heard of, dropped out of school. They didn't even finish.
But yeah, Bill Gates, the Elon.
Well, there's a million of them. But to me, folks, I would say, because people are always surprised by my answer when someone says, should I go to school? 100%. Should I finish school since I'm already in it? 100%. Why? Well, number one, you should always finish something you start, period. Number two, because ultimately, man, it's the relationships at the school that are valuable. It's not necessarily the education. The education doesn't hurt. The education is helpful, but it's not necessary. I dropped out of high school in 11th grade. Okay. I have people working for me with PhDs. So at the end of the day, it's not necessary. It's helpful. What's necessary are relationships. So if you're at school or you don't plan on going to school, I'm going to tell you that you're going to miss a lot of relationship opportunities. School is target-rich environment for opportunities. Relationships, which are opportunities. So I would say go to school, definitely, and finish if you're already doing it. A lot of people want to quit school because, I don't understand what I'm doing here if everyone's getting rich out there. Well, number one, you can get rich while you're at school, number one. Number two, relationships are the key to becoming extremely successful.
If you go to school now, right, and you don't have the knowledge that you just put in, you might dick around for a while and do nothing with that, not have the right relationships, not have the right focus. And so you have to understand this now. And it's the same thing in professional sports, which a lot of people, which I didn't know going into, and I didn't know this, and my dad was a professional soccer player as well. And I still didn't have that understanding because I was able to get through just based on talent alone, throughout the youth, stuff and get to the top because you're the best kid in the city and you're the best kid in the state. And then you're on the national team. It's like, boom, 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 things are happening and flowing. And then you can like run into some obstacles and stuff like this when this guy knows this guy, and all of a sudden this new factor comes into play more so than it would, when you're just the best player and it's clear you got to play. And so for the people that are listening out there, I make video upon video on how networking and relationships are so important in trying to get your first contract of the game, because I've seen so many players who are not good at all, but they get their chance, and they get their chance based on their relationships, based on who they know and the respect that they have between that person, and whether that's family, friends, whatever. And I wanted to go back real quick to one thing you mentioned on selling and persuasion. How did you get good? How can I get good at selling? Is someone maybe asking themselves how to get good at selling, how to get good at selling myself, my self-worth up so that I can make these cold calls, sell my prospect, my whatever, how to do that?
Well, I can't do it on a podcast, but you learn it through books and education, just like anything else. Now, some people kind of have a natural ability to communicate, be likable. They have charisma, but you can learn how to sell, close, and persuade people. When I was 6 years old, I went out and I sold candy bars for the school. They'd give us a box of candy bars. We're supposed to go sell it to our parents. My parents didn't have a bunch of money anyway. My brothers ate half of them, and now I had no way to go, and I couldn't bring the money to school, so I had to go sell these candy bars. So I literally went door to door knocking on doors as a 6, 7-year-old kid. Well, they'd answer the door, and I'd hide the candy bar behind my back or the box behind my back, and I'd say, do you have the phone number to a good roof repairman? And they said, why? And I'd say, because when you taste one of these, you're going to go through the roof. And literally everybody started buying box after box after box. I outsold every kid in the whole school. I sold all the candy bars they couldn't sell. I set school records. And no one told me to do that. I just knew that the regular way of doing it wasn't working. So I figured I better come up with something clever, something funny, and I like to be funny. And turns out humor sells, man. Humor, people like to laugh. People like to have a good time. And listen, when it comes to little $1, $2 items, you get somebody laughing and having fun, it's a guaranteed sale, man. You got to get people to like you. So, I can teach someone how to sell clothes and persuade. That's just a skill set, just like soccer. The other question was what?
Oh, self-worth.
That's a different one. So here's how you fix the relationship you have with yourself. Number one, you got to forgive yourself, because believe it or not, subconsciously in your history, there's all kinds of things that were told to you that you somehow believed. Okay. And at the end of the day, if you believe it, whether it's true or not, sometimes it'll just sink into your subconscious and be part of your wiring. And so the first thing you do is forgive yourself. It's kind of like wiping the slate clean. Second thing you do is commit to do what you say you're going to do from that day forward. Never not do what you say you're going to do. Okay. Number 3, you start racking up the wins by lowering your daily goals, like bring some down to where you can hit them all day long. I believe drinking water is a freaking win. I believe making my bed. I believe brushing my teeth. I believe, making one more call, walking one more minute, doing one more rep. Like little things are wins. And I get my mind around that this is a win, man. And so I'm winning all day long. And when you win all day long, you start to stand up and feel a little bit better. So that's step 3. You got to rack up the wins, because if you think about it, confidence is really just the memory of winning. So you want to win a lot. And who decides what a win is? We do. So we figure out what you can do all day long to win. And when someone says, well, that's not winning, bro, brushing your teeth, that's not a win. Anyone brushes their teeth. Listen, you don't get to determine what a win is for me. I do. So since you're the one trying to raise your self-worth, decide a win is something small that you can achieve, and you can achieve it all day long. Okay. Chewing a piece of gum is a win, as long as it's mint flavored, makes your breath smell good. So at the end of the day, you rack up the wins. Then number 4, you got to get rid of all the negativity, including your own self-talk, but more importantly, other people talking crap. Okay. Anybody that's not supportive, anybody that's, talking crap, pessimistic, you got to get rid of them. Get them out of your face, get them out of your ears, because what you allow in here is what grows. So if you plant corn grows. You got to be careful what you allow in here. Okay. Don't allow anybody to talk any nonsense in here. And then obviously you stop talking the nonsense you do to yourself. You got to be very careful with how you talk to yourself. So that's step 4, get rid of all the negativity. Number 5 is you have to map out and visualize exactly what success looks like, so you can literally see it every day and imagine what it not only feels like, but believe it or not, being thankful for it. And then number 6, you need to seek new information. And here's the key that most people don't understand. I never did till I was about 45. In order to change what you're getting, you got to change what you're doing. Okay. You have to. You're not going to get something different if you're doing the same shit. So you got to change what you're getting by change what you're doing. That's just common sense. If you want to change what you're doing, right, that's changing your behavior. That's changing your actions. The only way to change what you're doing is to change your beliefs, because the reason you do what you do, decide what you decide, act like you act, is because of your belief system. So the only way to change your belief is to get new information. If all you have is the same information for the rest of your life, your beliefs will never change, your actions will never change, and you will never change. If you really want to change, which is crazy because a lot of people don't, and you need to, if you're wanting to level up, man, you got to change. So how do we change? The only way to actually change is to get new information. Now, when someone says, well, I could decide to change, yeah, but those usually don't last. Why? Because there's a subconscious belief. There's an internal belief that will just cause you to change. How many people have started working out and then they give up 2 weeks later? How many people start doing something and then they talk themselves out of it for whatever reason, or they allow other people to talk themselves into something or out of something they know they shouldn't be doing, right? Well, that's because you just made a decision. Listen, you have to change your belief system to change your behavior. So if you want to change what you're getting, you got to change what you're doing. And in order to change what you're doing, you got to change your beliefs. And the only way to change your belief is to get new information, period. So every single day, you have to open up a book, 10 to 20 pages minimum. And by the way, you can listen. You know, people say, what about audiobooks? All I'm talking about is get new information in your head. Your head is a computer, man. And right now, you don't have all the information, okay? If you had all the information you needed, you'd have everything that you wanted, okay? One of the things I just told you is key to it, relationships. I always tell people, the reason you don't have everything you want in life is because you don't know the right people. They're like, what do you mean? If you knew the right people, you'd have everything you ever wanted. You don't know the right people. You don't know the right people, period. Get over it. Boo-hoo. Wah-ha. It's the truth. You don't know the right people. Okay, so if you knew the right people, you'd have everything you want in life. If you had the right information, you'd have everything you want in life. So you don't have the right information, bro, period. Stop listening to all the other people who don't have the right information either. Stop listening to the broke asses. Stop listening to the people that ain't a freaking star player on a freaking soccer team. Stop listening to bullshitters. How do you know if they're bullshitters? Again, it's very simple, dude. Look at their result. Look at their result. Stop listening to people telling you what they were told. They don't know either. If they knew all this shit, wouldn't they have everything they wanted in life? So at the end of the day, people say, well, Brad, do you have everything you want in life? No. That's why I realize I don't know the right people, which I'm constantly meeting new people. I'm constantly building relationships. And then I'm also reading every single day. There's never a day off. I'm reading. Why? I need new information. I need new information to make the brain smarter, more valuable, and more importantly, to change my beliefs, because whatever my beliefs are is what's stopping me from being wherever it is I want to be. And it's doing the same thing to you. It's doing the same thing to everybody who listens to this. So if you're listening to this right now, I guarantee you all you have to do is understand that. And you'll start to realize, damn, I need some new information today. Let me grab this book and let me read 10 or 20 pages. It's new information. You don't have to believe it, but you do have to consume it. So get new information every single day. And I'm not talking about reading the shampoo bottle while you're taking a shit. I'm talking about real books, man. Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Richest Man in Babylon, As a Man Thinketh, The Four Agreements. I could keep going and going and going. The magic of thinking big, mindset. I could keep going and going and going.
Getting rich.
The Science of Getting Rich. Wallace D. Wattles. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So start reading and reading and reading and getting new information. So that's 6 things that will increase your self-worth. Number 1, forgive yourself. Apologize and forgive yourself. Number 2, commit to do what you say you're going to do. Number 3, start racking up a bunch of wins. What'll happen? You start walking taller, and then people start talking shit, and they will. Get rid of all those people talking shit. Start figuring out exactly what success looks like, so you're not out there just hoping for something, and visualize it every day. And start reading every single day, getting that new information. And pretty soon you will be a better person. You'll be a better human being. You'll be smarter. You'll be faster. You'll be stronger. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to realize, holy crap, that changed my life. Right. And all we did was repaired or built the relationship. That's why they're so important. Relationships, the key with yourself. Your relationship with yourself needs improved. That's how you improve everything else.
Club Libertas. We created this podcast because we wanted to discuss topics that were otherwise forgotten. And they weren't forgotten because they were not important. They're forgotten because we live in a society that is not pushing you to be the best version of yourself. We want to discuss spirituality, making money, getting healthier, learning faster, quicker, learning better, making things easier for yourself, how to become free, truly free, and the best version of yourself. This is what Club Libertas is all about. It's a place where you're going to be able to find exclusive interviews, content, articles, and paths and programs specifically on these subjects in a way that you have never seen before. Click the link right down below. Club Libertas is accepting applications, and no, not everyone will get in. There is an interview process because we want to keep this as high level as possible. We want you to know that your brothers and sisters within this group and this community are there for you, that you can learn from them, and that we can help each other become the best versions of ourselves. Club Libertas, check it out. Link is right down below. Enjoy the podcast.
And I couldn't say it better. What's hilarious is that formula for how to do this is so simple. And yet I think now most people are starting to, that information is out there. These books and these things, they're starting to become more popular. Younger and younger people are getting into these sorts of things. And still there are definitely, whether it's anxiety, drive, I'm not sure, what distractions that are holding people back from getting there. And I know that I'm lucky to have known at 14 or 15 exactly what I wanted to do with my life. Without a shot, I had no doubts. I had no nothing. I had a crazy experience basically that told me that this is okay. Soccer, this play, and how I was going to shape and determine my life. It was done. Right. And that I realize is 10 times. It's so hard for people to figure out what exactly they want, which I know I go back to the hazy dream part, because people will stick around with, I want my life to be better. I want to earn more money. I want to be happier. How? What exactly? How much money? What team do you want to play for? Do you want to be a pro? Do you just want to play a little bit better? Do you want to be the best player on your Sunday league team, or do you want to be, the best player in your state? And that visualization process, how crazy it is, how crazy the stuff that you can do when you really dig into that. And I'm also a huge reader. I'm filled with books all around here. I've read all those stuff. There's a quote. I don't know if you're a Neville Goddard fan at all, but if you've read As a Man Thinketh, a lot of the same topics and things are there. And I try to get people into this. We're starting this group actually, essentially from our podcast called Club Libertas. And the Club Libertas is coming from this Roman goddess, right? Which was all about freedom for, it's the goddess is actually what the Statue of Liberty is. It's a symbol of freedom now. It's gone through the times. But what does freedom actually look like to anyone? It looks different to everyone, but right at the most part, you're financially independent. You're able to think for yourself, you're able to do what you want to with your own time, right? And so we've set this up to have people to get a chance to hear people like you, to read these books, to get a community that's actually around this, right? Because if what you're saying is true, right, you can go test this, and everybody out there is listening can go test this. And I already know this is true for my own life. When there are times and moments where I cannot read or cannot do that stuff, you're in trouble, right? And so I can only second all of that. But one of the things you touch on also is this abundance mindset type thing. Things start to change in a bit once you start to get this. But how important is it for you every day to see yourself as this abundant? How much of it is action? How much of it is, let me just put this information in, where do you find this balance? I can't just go read all these books and sit there.
Well, you need to start there. Okay. Everybody's all worried about, down the road. Quit worrying about the shit you got to also do. Start doing the shit you need to do. And then we'll worry about action later. Why? Well, because dude, you can't even read a book, bro. So start reading. Quit worrying about all the other shit down the road. Yes, you're going to have to take action, but guess what? The books will teach you that. The books will teach you everything that you need to know. Your self-worth will start to increase if you do what I just said. And then you'll take action. Why? Because, dude, you'll start to feel like you deserve more. And you'll realize that you're more capable than you thought. You'll realize that you can do a lot more than you thought. And you'll start to do more, and then you'll start to get more. Because all you got to do if you want more is do more. Okay? There's 3 areas you want to focus on if you want to be successful, quote unquote successful. Mindset, skill set, habits. Show me your mindset, I'll show you your problem. Show me your skill set, I'll show you your problem. Show me your habits, I'll show you your problem. And by the way, it's the opposite too. Show me your mindset, I'll show you why they're successful. Their mindset, their skill set, their habits. And what's crazy about all those, dude, is you can have a really positive mindset and you're just average. Well, dude, listen, the best in the world get paid. You can run passionately in the wrong direction. It is possible. So it doesn't matter how positive you are if you suck. So get positive, get optimistic, and then get good at what you do or what you want to do. How do you get good? Put time and effort into practice, drill, and rehearse whatever it is you do. Okay. There's a rule of 100 that states you put 100 hours towards any one thing, you'll probably be better than 95% of the rest of the population doing that thing. That's only 100 hours, dude. You need to put thousands of hours. Like I think it was Bruce Lee that said, I'm not afraid of the guy that practiced 10,000 kicks or 10,000 different kicks one time. I'm afraid of the guy that practiced one kick 10,000 times. So at the end of the day, the skill set, dude, you got to get good, man. The good news is everyone can get good. It just takes practice. And then your habits. Dude, you show me somebody with shitty habits, I'll show you somebody with a shitty life. 9 times out of 10, when people come to me and they want advice or they want help and they want this and they want that, first thing I do is say, tell me your habits. And they'll start giving you habits that are obviously stupid. And then they start rationalizing why they got to do it, which, by the way, is your mindset. So they start displaying all of the problems. And then when it boils down to it, dude, in a lot of cases, they think they're better than they actually are. They're not real about where they are. Dude, you got to assess where you actually are. I always call it get real. Get real with your life. That's why I always wear the shirt that you see that says real. That's why all my companies are called, real, because dude, you got to get real, man. If you want to grow and expand and develop, don't you have to figure out where you are first? And if you think you're here and you want to go here and you're not really there, you're going to get disappointed because you're actually here. So by the time you get to here, you're still not away from but according to you, you should have been here. So now you're all depressed and you quit. There's so many mindset reasons, right? There's so many skill set reasons, and there's so many habit reasons why people fail. So just realize that early in your life. Write down mindset. How's your mindset? And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast and you're already thinking, yeah, it's not that easy, dude. It's easy for you to say, listen, that's your mindset. Okay. You're proving me correct. Okay. The next one is your skill set, just practice. And then the next one is your habits, bro. Look at your habits and tell me what you do all day. Are you getting up early? People say you don't have to get up early. That's your mindset. You don't have to get up early. It depends on what you're doing. I mean, again, I know people that get off work at 4 a.m. So they're not going to get up at 5 a.m. Okay. That's an exception, but are you getting up early? Do you realize if you get up 2 hours earlier than you do right now, you'll get like an extra month in the year? Literally an extra month. People say, well, what would I do with 2 extra hours? You don't have to get up early to be successful. Brother, you have to think correctly. You have to have the right habits. The discipline needs to be developed. And with a lot of these athletes, dude, discipline comes easy for them. Why? Because they've been on sports teams their whole life, dude. They're used to showing up and doing the push-ups and doing the discipline. So they're lucky. They're lucky. But a lot of them will start to get depressed as soon as those sports are over because they think that's their only ticket out. If I don't do this, if I don't become this, I'll never make it. Dude, that is a fucked up mindset. And that is not true, by the way. Of course we all want to be. I mean, dude, listen, I ran a 4.40 in junior high school. People are like, come on, dude, that's like NFL fast. Number one, I didn't know it was that fast back then, but it's the truth. You can go look it up in the schools. I broke records in the school. I was a fast son of a bitch. No one told me nothing. I wish I could have been an NFL player, but number one, because that's what I like, football, actual football.
Yeah.
But number one, I didn't have very good parenting. I obviously didn't have very good coaching. I had the talent, but I didn't have the habits. I didn't have the skill set. I didn't have the mindset necessary to achieve that greatness. So again, dude, those 3 areas are where it's at. I wish to simplify this for people. Go look at your skill set. Go look at your mindset. Go look at your habits. Just look at those 3 areas and grade yourself, but be real about it. Where are you really? And if you can get real with it, dude, it's easy to fix. That's the good news. It's easy to fix for anybody. Real, I use as an acronym.
Oh, yeah. What does it stand for?
Well, the real stands for relationships, because again, that's the most important, and the most important one is the one you have with yourself. The E is for energy, like your vibration. Like, you ever hang around people and they seem negative and you seem exhausted after talking to them? Like, they got a bad energy, bro. People that are all fat and, out of shape. Well, dude, they got a bad energy. Okay. Hate me, call me a fat shamer. I'm not fat shaming. I'm just telling the truth. The truth is you're not meant to be fat and out of shape. The food that they're making us eat or wanting us to eat, that's what's making us fat. Okay. But at the end of the day, you weren't born to be fat, bro. So that's just one example of your energy's messed up. You got to get the right energy. You got to get the right health, the right vibration, the right frequency. What you frequently see is your frequency. So if you're constantly seeing negativity, that becomes your frequency. And believe it or not, frequencies attract like frequencies. Now you're wondering why you're hanging around the wrong people. Well, because, dude, you're the wrong person. People always say, Brad, how do you get around all of these successful people? You become one. That's how you get around them, is you become one and then you hang around them. So the E is for energy. A is for affluence. Affluence. And everybody wants that. That's basically abundance of wealth and money, time. It's an abundance. So you want that affluence. And then the L stands for basically lifestyle. How is your lifestyle? What is your lifestyle like? What are you doing all day? What are you doing every day? Your lifestyle, your hobbies, your habits. What are they? So if you look at the real, you just go relationships, energy, affluence, and lifestyle. You get those in check, brother. You're going to start getting excited about life. And then it all starts to snowball, right? You start to get excited. You start to smile. People start liking you more. Relationships come around. You start leveraging those relationships. All of a sudden, you start to get more. Next thing you know, dude, everyone's like, dude, this is unbelievable. This wasn't that difficult. This was easy. And then everyone will tell you the same thing they tell me. It ain't easy, bro. And you'll be like, dude, all you got to do, look, this is exactly what I did.
One of the most important things you can do if you're trying to earn more money is learn new skills. Stacking skills is one of the greatest things you can do in order to bring value to yourself and the people around you, especially one like learning a new language. I bet most of you guys had no idea that I could speak 9 languages and that we have a YouTube channel with almost 100,000 subscribers where I do exclusively just that. And we break down the method for exactly what an idiot guy like me has done in order to do this. It's not complex, it's not complicated, and most of you guys have probably used the traditional method, and the traditional method sucks. That's why you can't speak any Spanish after 4 years of going to high school and taking Spanish week in, week out. If you want to learn to speak a language the fastest, easiest, and most natural way, click the link right down below, Goluremi Languages. We've got the method for you. Check it out.
The thing that I find so fascinating, once again, is the simplicity of the formula, the ease with which someone can start right now.
Hey, you want to know what's crazy?
Tell
I don't
me.
want to interrupt you, but this is crazy.
No. Tell me.
There is only now. Isn't that crazy? There is no such thing as the future, and there is no such thing as the past. There's only now, because everything else doesn't exist. So some people are living in the future, which causes anxiety. Some people are living in the past, which causes depression, and you want to stay in the past. Especially if you used to be a high school quarterback. Now you're a freaking balding, aging, mill worker. And all you want to do is live in the past. Why? Because that's where you felt the best. Dude, living in the past is depressing. Living in the future causes anxiety. The only place that actually is real is now. Right now is the only thing that's actually real. People think, oh, this is going to happen in the future. And it doesn't. Oh, this is going to happen in the future. Or isn't going to happen, and it does. So at the end of the day, there is no future, dude. There's only now, because when it happens, it's now that happens. If it's not going to happen now, what does it matter? Think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it is crazy. I remember actually trying to explain that to one of my good friends. He couldn't grasp the concept. I don't know if I did a shitty job at explaining it, but to tell him that the future, when it happens, it will be the present. It will be now, right? And so you can't experience it. Don't worry about that. He has a lot of anxiety, by the way. So that kind of, kicks it in. He's dealing with depression. He's dealing with a lot of things, actually. But
that's why I say start now.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you ever said on this whole podcast. Start now, folks. Quit waiting for tomorrow. It never comes. Start now. Turn this damn podcast off and go start. Quit procrastinating. Quit believing that it's going to come someday. It's going to come when you make it come, and that is when you freaking start, and that is now.
Exactly. And the thing that is also about it is that nothing is going to make it happen other than you. The wind isn't going to blow differently tomorrow, and you're not just going to get up and put your clothes on in the same way you've been putting them on, and it's just going to happen. Like we run into that also. Guys just continually doing the same thing over and over again, expecting this different thing to happen. This new scout will see me, or I'll just make the money. My YouTube channel is going to blow up, making the same stupid videos over and over again. It's not going to happen, dude. You're responsible for everything. And there was this crazy clip going around social media as well about, no one's coming. It kind of like became like a meme. I don't know who started it, but like, it was just like, no one's coming. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to do this for you. No one's going to make you rich, happy, wealthy, peaceful, all that stuff. You got to do it. You have to do it. It's you. And at the end of the day, until you realize that, nothing will actually happen. The question I want to ask, though, was the common distractions. Are there things that you see in people that do not succeed? What are those things for someone to be looking at? Like, if you could give them a checklist like you've done for the other things, from waking up early to reading the right things, getting negative people out of your life, do you see other things like distraction type things where they go off on the wrong road path and this sets them back? Things that's setting people back. I'm just curious.
Yeah, and I've done it myself. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just the opposite of everything I just said. So, distractions, you're calling them, are just the opposite of all the other things, like lack of focus, lack of discipline. But at the end of the day, number one, obviously, peer pressure, friends that don't want to be anything special and you're hanging around will make you feel wrong for wanting to be special. Sometimes parents will talk you out of believing that you're special, and that you shouldn't want any more or do any more, and you don't deserve any more, and you better be humble, because that's what the Bible teaches us. And you better be humble, otherwise people won't like you. And again, like, why are you trying to? If you're so worried about everybody's opinion, it's because you don't have a valuable opinion of your own. If I'm worried about everybody else to validate my thoughts and validate my actions, it's because I can't validate my own. So I need everybody else to validate them. Folks, worry about impressing yourself, not other people, and focus on that. And I guarantee you, your life will change. But some of the distractions that are out there, man, drugs, parties, food, music, sports. Dude, there's people that are literally sitting there watching all these sports games. Now, again, it's interesting because you're an athlete. What's funny is I always ask people, why are you so worried about another man's accomplishments? Why don't you get on the team yourself? Like, quit worrying about what this dude is doing and start going to figure out what you need to be doing. And if that happens to be kicking that dude's ass in the sport, then so be it. But at the end of the day, I don't sit there and focus on what other men are doing. I don't know all these stats. Sometimes I think it would feel cool to sit around with my buddies that are all into sports, talk about, they know the coach, they know the players, they know when they went to college, they know their stats, they know everything. And I'm like, how the hell do you guys have all this time to freaking figure out all these things? Well, dude, that's a distraction. And I'm not saying none of them are successful, but a lot of them, they're not. They're not successful.
Right.
Why? Well, because they're so worried about fucking sports, is they don't have any time to think about anything else. So to me, and by the way, if that makes them happy, that to me is the end goal. Because if you're after money and you get it and you're not happy after you get it, don't be surprised, because it's not money you're really after. Okay. You have to figure out. That's why I say, figure out what success looks like, because there's a lot of people that got rich thinking that's what would make them happy. And it didn't make them happy because they didn't spend enough time to figure out what does make them happy, which is, by the way, getting to know yourself. Figure out who you are. Quit worrying about what everybody else wants you to be. Figure out who you want to be. That's just good advice. And I don't know where that came from, but you say something and it always sparks something. I mean, because I'm thinking to myself, man, if I were listening to this podcast as a 16, 20-year-old dude, this is the type of thing that no one told me when I was young. Exactly. I had to learn this crap the hard way. And by the way, my book is called The Hard Way. I don't have a copy of it right here, but my book's called The Hard Way. It's lessons I've learned the hard way so you don't have to. And the funny thing about that book, when I wrote it, is some people are like, well, dude, I knew that. Well, dude, listen, you may know or you may not know. The bottom line is everyone will learn these lessons. The question is how much is it going to cost them? Because I spent a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of pain and a lot of agony learning them. And these are some of them. Be real, keep it real. Don't lie. Look for win-win solutions. There's people out there trying to hustle and rip people off to get their own. Well, guys, if a deal isn't win-win, leave it alone. It's not going to last, and it's only going to harm your reputation. And in the long run, you're screwing yourself. You think you won. You think you got the best end of the deal, when in reality, dude, you're months away from losing a customer that's going to talk shit because you took advantage of somebody. Ethics and integrity. Dude, I had to learn ethics and integrity. I mean, there's so much we could talk about, dude. We're going to need 2 episodes.
Listen, we're gonna have to do one in person too, when I'm back there in the US, because this is the type of stuff that I've been trying to get out to people. Number one, the fact that your whole thing is about being real and keeping it real in that sense, because you're never actually. Have you ever read the book U Squared?
Yes, I have. I think it's on my coffee table in my green room.
All right. It's like 35 pages. You could read it in obviously like an hour or less than an hour, right? And the whole book is about, he tells this entire story about a fly. Fly was in his room trying to bang up against the window, trying to get out. And he kept saying, if this fly only knew that just across on the other side of the room there's a door open, there's a window open, he could just fly straight out of it. But nevertheless, the fly tries and does this. And his whole goal is to just try harder. But no matter how hard he tries, he's never blasting through the window. He needs a change of perspective. He needs new information, basically, what you're saying. And the new information would allow him to just go straight out the window, right? And so this book, which I find incredible about it, is because it reminds me a whole lot of actually taking the time, because I also saw you speaking about this. For people that don't know what they want in life, they've never actually taken the time to sit down without the TikTok and whatever else they got on their phone. Just sit down and figure it out and think, alone. And that's the same way that I apply this critical thinking, this peaceful. I'm a meditator, by the way. So that's one thing that I do: meditation, nature. That helps me clear my head really easily, and then I can just all of a sudden these options come up that you can't see. When you're too down there in the trenches, trying to just one after another, and just harder, this, that, and the other. You don't look up and take a second and say, wait, okay, what am I doing that's so stupid? Because clearly I'm doing something stupid, right? And all right, look what he's doing, right? Let me see this and all this stuff. And it's so fascinating to see how easy, right? How easy it is for the fly to just go out the window, and how easy the same thing works for people who are doing the same stupid habit, same stupid mindset, same stupid thing, and then they just change 1, 2 things. Poof. Whole world is different, And so it's a great book. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you if you don't have it.
I think it's on my coffee table in my green room next to the studio, but I'm not sure.
Okay. There's 2. There's also the Quantum Leap Strategy. That's it. Same size, same idea. Excellent stuff.
Now, see, as you name both those books, if you guys could see my piece of paper, I wrote them down. Why? Because, dude, I'm going to go read them anyway. If I don't remember if I read them, if I don't remember it's on my coffee table, it means I didn't read it very well. By the way, that's another hack that I learned late. Dude, you got to read. It's more important to read one book 5 times than 5 books. Like, don't think just because you read a bunch of books that you learned everything, because you don't. It's important to read, but remember what I said. It's sometimes better to read one book 5 times than 5 books one time.
100%. 100%. As we're closing up here in this, where can guys, because I know everybody's going to want to go, they're going to go check you out. There's this guy. Oh, he's talked all this stuff that's helping me. They're pushing this motivation. They're going to want to go hear more. And so where should they go for more from you?
Well, obviously you can go to my YouTube, Instagram. I'm dropping little nuggets every single day, all day. But usually, depending on what you want, I would say, just Google me. But bradlee.com will lead you to anywhere. Everything I'm doing, everything I say, all my channels, my podcast, Dropping Bombs. Dude, I don't know where to send you. It depends on what you're looking for. If you just want to investigate me a little more, I'd send you to Google. Type in Brad Lee, Lea. I'll pop up.
I would recommend the podcast. I mean, that's how I stumbled upon you. I don't even remember what the first one was. Yeah, there's a rabbit hole, and then you go down the rabbit hole and you see, okay, this is good information, good people he's got on here. And then you've got stuff. I mean, I'm just like you. I write my stuff down. I read a ton. I recommend for a lot of people that don't get the chance to do this, because like you said, it's a habit. It's hard for people to read, whether we like it or not. Nowadays, it's hard for people to read because that's just the society we live in. But once you develop that habit, the return on your investment is insane, right? And like some of the books that we've already mentioned. Oh, that was the last thing I wanted to do. You've already named some of these other books. Could you name some of the books on selling that maybe influenced you, just to give some people a chance to a place to go?
Well, the number one book on the one that influenced me most is How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a lot of different books on sales. I would recommend that you read them all. Why? Because there's hundreds of different variations of pretty much the same thing. And when you start to realize, man, this person said the same thing that person said, just kind of in a different way. And wait a minute, that guy's saying pretty much what this guy's saying, but that's kind of, just said his own little way. Then you start to realize, dude, everybody's saying the same shit just in their own way. And then that's when you start to realize, wait a minute, dude, all these successful people are saying the same shit just in their own way.
Yeah.
Then you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, there must be something to this. How are they all? And by the way, just because it doesn't mean they plagiarized everyone, it just means they're learning the same things and they get to the same end result. So I would say read them all, because at the end of the day, it's going to be who resonates with you the most. You might not like my style. I know a lot of people that they want a little more intelligent approach. They want some frameworks and some fact-based and some analytics behind what they say. It's not just some raw guy on the internet. Well, then read a bunch of people's things so you can find who resonates with you, and then just learn, man, absorb that knowledge. But How to Win Friends and Influence People. Daniel Pink has one. I think it's called, matter of fact, I forget what it's called now, but, obviously Grant Cardone has Sell or Be Sold. He also has one called the 10X Rule, which is another, mindset / sales book.
Is it To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink?
To Sell is Human. That's a good one. You've also got Robert Cialdini, Persuasion. And then there's also one called Influence. Those are 2 key ones. I would say Spin Selling. If you've heard of Spin Selling. Yeah, type in Spin Selling. Okay. Let me think, just off the top of my head. I'd start with those, and I'd read the shit out of all of them.
Okay. That's great advice. Listen, man, this has been way even better than I could have thought. I mean, obviously, I really do enjoy your podcast. Everybody who's listening to this, please check out the podcast. Check out everything, like you said. Google them. Go down your own rabbit hole for what it is that you want to do. Right? A lot of people here from different walks of life. Check it out, and we'll definitely have to do this again. One of these times would be really cool from the Club Libertas. We'll get a bunch of questions. We'll end up with a bunch of questions, and to feed to you. And I'm sure they would love it. So someday we'll definitely have to do that. But listen, thanks for taking the time, and we appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.